Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today it's a very important day, almost. Tomorrow is the important day, but today we're going to be talking about what is happening tomorrow because more likely than not there's going to be some sort of announcement tomorrow on the anniversary of this thing. This is the PSVR2, and as somebody who's been making content and having a little job off this thing for the last 2 years or so, I think it's about time that I talk about it and how I feel about the headset in 2025, because that is a crazy thing to think it's actually been that long. Before we get into talking about it though, only 25% of you are subscribed. We're trying to get to 20,000 subs. Please feel free to do so. And thank you to our patrons and YouTube members who are on screen right now. And before we tackle how this is now, let's take a short view back to the past. So, welcome back, and we now have an order that I've been waiting for a long time. The PSVR2. These two waterfalls, the way they're technically constructed, feel the realest out of most things I've seen in VR. This was the first thing I really jumped into, apart from Gran Turismo, and I thought, this is clarity. This is absolute clarity. Oh my god! That's coming towards me. That's coming towards me. Let's do this. Let's fucking have you. Oh, please, let me grapple. No! 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 Ow! Behind you! Oh shit! Oh my god, I just got eaten!
This is it. Last.
So something like Loki. There's gonna be no space in there, is there? Oh my god. I felt actual fear then going through that. His arms are so unnatural. Look at him. Look at him. Blow up. Do it. What was that? We got the traitor! Oh no, oh no. Oh shit, I missed. Okay, just go, just leave. Just have it. Yes!
Oh yes!
Yes! Let's go!
Right, blow it.
That was a snippet of the past 2 years of PSVR2. And to be honest, from that first day I got it, it has been fantastic ever since. I really do love this piece of hardware. It still keeps surprising me each and every day, but I'm going to try and avoid all the bias that I have as somebody who basically lives off this thing and try and tackle it a bit more objectively. In the current 2025 VR market, it does a couple of things really well, a couple of things not so well, and there are still some areas that it needs improvement on, either in updates or with a new model with the PSVR 3 at some point, I guess, down the line. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, the boring headset stuff. Yes, it is still a fantastic headset in most regards. The comfort is still pretty fantastic. The cable, yep, it's there, but it's not too thick and not too heavy. The controllers are some of the best on the market in terms of how immersive they feel with the haptics, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. And overall, it's a great piece of kit to pick up. It stood the test of time since launch. 2 years later, still a viable choice in 2025, but we can go deeper than that. In no particular order, let's start off with the haptics. Now, I'd still say they're about best in class, to be honest. From the headset rumble to the haptics and the controllers, they're some of the most detailed that you can find in VR. Meta's offering doesn't come close. Apple's offering doesn't exist, although we'll talk about that in a second. Pico's offering doesn't really come close either, and to be honest, other companies like Pimax, DPVR, they're all doing the pretty standard haptic stuff. PSVR2 haptics with the PS5 console, not with PC, are honestly fantastic, and there are so many games that utilize them really well, from the rumble in the headset when you crash into a wall in Gran Turismo, or when a massive mechanical bird flies by in Horizon. There's so much to love here, along with the adaptive triggers that still wow me with their use to this day. They're things that I thought might be a little gimmicky when the headset first came out, but now that it's stuck with me and I've had this for 2 years now, it is fantastic and I couldn't live without it. And the controllers are also so detailed that it's rumored that Apple are going to be picking them up as their official controllers to work with Vision Pro, which is rumored to happen this summer. And if that ends up happening, that'll solve one of the biggest problems with this headset, is that the controllers are fickle things. If they break, they're gone. You cannot buy a controller separately, but hopefully with this deal with Apple, you'll be able to get them at decent retail price and get a second pair, whether you pair them with your PC or whether you just want a second pair for your console in case yours break. With those great features and that one little pain point that'll hopefully get resolved soon, let's move on to the panel itself and the lenses of the headset. Now, one great thing, OLED. OLED is still fantastic, still best in class in terms of color. The only thing that's better than this really that I've seen color-wise would be the Apple Vision Pro itself. That is absolutely stunning because it is also OLED, and I think it's micro OLED if I remember right, which is just absolutely stunning with no mirror whatsoever. This OLED does have mirror, but as a gaming device and a budget one at that compared to Vision Pro, it is probably the best offering that you can get still on the market. If you want OLED for PCVR or for PS5, PSVR2 is the way to go. However, there is another side to that, and that is Fresnel lenses. Fresnel lenses are not fantastic. While I personally don't absolutely hate them, and I have used Pancake so I can go back and forth, some people go to Pancake lenses and they cannot go back to Fresnel. That's not me, I can do both, but they are definitely the inferior of the two. You've got a lot of chromatic aberration around the edges, and a sweet spot that for new users, especially ones who are onboarding with the headset now, is a little tough to find. But overall, I still think the sweet spot, you can get it fairly quickly. New users shouldn't be too deterred, but that is a bit of a learning curve with the headset compared to other options in 2025 and 2 years on. I'd absolutely love for either a revised model with Pancake lenses at some point when that becomes more affordable with OLED, or a PSVR3 with Pancake lenses. I really would like to see the form factor of this kind of slimmed down a little bit, even though it's not the biggest headset in the world. I just feel like the front face gasket especially, and the HMD itself, imagine if it was a bit thinner, especially for transporting around, would be fantastic. Put some Pancake lenses in there, that would be so damn good. As it stands though, visually, still a great option. But visuals are no good without some good games, and contrary to what some people might be saying, PSVR2 is still getting great games every single month. We're about to go into March with Hitman. We are going to get Wander of the Fragments of Fate and Aces of Thunder and Exocars fairly soon. Some Flat to VR projects are coming. Who knows what will be announced tomorrow at the anniversary of the headset? Maybe a shadow drop of Aces of Thunder, maybe a release date. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. We'll be covering it on the channel, by the way, of course. Or maybe a brand new game altogether that's quite big, like on the anniversary of PSVR, where they revealed Borderlands 2 VR for the first time. We could see a repeat, see something big coming to the headset. That would be awesome. Other games like Arcane Age, Alien Rogue Incursion, Metro, Behemoth all got released in the last 6 months or even less than that, and they've all been fantastic games. And honestly, the lineup for the PSVR2 is great at the moment. If you prioritize your gaming for VR and just want something accessible that's plug and play, you can't really go wrong with this headset in 2025. PCVR is a little bit more finicky to get working sometimes. I love PCVR, I love how versatile it is and how many options there are, but sometimes I just want to stick the headset on and just have it work as intended. That's what PSVR is for. Of course, standalone is also great, no wires, and some great exclusives as well, like Assassin's Creed and Batman, but PSVR2 still kind of wins for me in terms of that sweet spot between how much you can do with it, its ease of use, and the power that you get from a console. Of course, I just mentioned PCVR, and the adapter's sitting right up here on my PC. This just lets you plug in your PSVR2 and use it as a PCVR headset, and to be honest, I found a couple months on, this experience is varied a little bit. The headset itself is fantastic as a PCVR headset. It looks amazing uncompressed. Games shine like never before. Half-Life Alyx just looks great in this thing. However, the controllers are a little bit of a pain to kind of pair back and forth. You need to put them into pairing mode by holding 2 buttons and then plug them back into PS5 when you want to pair back. And you have to do that every single time you switch back and forth. Hence why controllers coming out later this year would be an absolute godsend. But yeah, that is a bit of a pain point. Not a massive issue, but something that when you're using it on PCVR and PS5 at the same time, is a little bit rough to deal with. As a PCVR capable headset though, it is pretty amazing, and the fact that you can go pick up an adapter and get all that PCVR capability is awesome. As a standalone PCVR headset, I'd still think it's pretty relevant. You lose eye track foveated rendering, headset rumble, adaptive triggers, and some of the more detailed haptics, but it still is very capable, especially on the Black Friday sales. It's a bit of a bargain for PCVR, to be honest. Just make sure that you get a good Bluetooth adapter that's recommended by Sony, otherwise you'll run into some tracking issues most likely. So PCVR is definitely a worthy area to talk about with this thing, and I've been loving it for the past couple of months, but it does have a couple of pitfalls, especially with ease of use. I did mention foveated rendering in there as well, and that is still something to this day, 2 years later, that is fantastic. It allows games on PSVR2 to reach the heights of PCVR games in terms of visual fidelity, like Gran Turismo, Alien Rogue Incursion, with loads of effects going on. Behemoth runs at 90 native, it's fantastic. Resident Evil 4 and 8 just run sublimely and look amazing. And that's all down to the foveated rendering in this headset. Subside as well as another that looks great on PC, looks absolutely stunning on PSVR2 and PS5 as well. And ultimately, it's the thing that's keeping this relevant in terms of power with the PS5. Without it, a lot of games would really struggle, like we've seen with games like VRROCK 2, which without foveated rendering, just kind of get hung up in terms of frame rate. Of course, we just got other features like hand tracking added to the PSVR2. Another thing that's keeping it fairly relevant is the SDK updates like that. Hand tracking works great. We've seen with comparisons with MetaQuest 3, it does have some pitfalls compared to that platform, like when you kind of intertwine your hands, it gets a bit confused, but in terms of latency, it's much, much better due to the processing power of the PS5 in combination with the PSVR2. Masters of Light is getting hand track support, and Waltz of the Wizard already does, so hopefully more games follow suit. Like Puzzling Places is one that I'd love to use with hand tracking instead of with controllers. It's a perfect game for it, building puzzles in 3D. Same with Waltz of the Wizard. I've shown it off to a couple people now, and it's mind-blowing, and it's a feature that we just didn't have until a couple weeks ago, which is amazing. Stuff like that is still making this relevant, and I love it for that. Penultimately, one of my major pain points for the headset though is viewing content. Now, I've spoken about this in depth in a couple of videos before, but you cannot really view content in a natural way with this thing. When you're in the menus or watching videos, that's just in a screen in front of you in a black void. There's no environments like what you're seeing right now, which is big screen VR. That app is fantastic with the PC adapter with this thing. I've used this to watch movies on Steam, and it's just been amazing in a cinema environment that feels grand and feels like you have place. In the PS5, natively, nothing like that. You're just sitting in a void, watching your content or looking at your menus, and it's just kind of disconnected, and I really wish that it wasn't, and that kind of sucks. I'd love a native PSVR2 app that can just play content in an environment like that. I mean, hell, when Minecraft VR came out on PSVR 1, there was an option to just play the game on the flat screen in a really cool Minecraft-style library environment that I'll put on screen right now for you. Something like that would just be awesome to kind of chill in. Sony just haven't really made the effort on the software side of things to make something like that for PSVR2, and I wish they did. There is also, for some reason, no 3D support. Now, that is something that came later for PSVR 1, so it's possible even tomorrow we could get that with PSVR 2. If we do, that would be amazing. I'll run down to my local CEX and I'll buy some 3D Blu-rays, but currently we don't have that. But again, it came later with PSVR 1 after a lot of badgering of Sony, so maybe it could happen again. Maybe we'll see it tomorrow, who knows? But that currently, as of recording, isn't a thing. So if you're really prioritizing movie watching for a headset, unless you're using this on PC, I'd say probably look elsewhere. As a PCVR headset though, this can run really nicely in big screen environments and stuff. Just to view content, watch films, I've really loved it, but with the PS5, you're looking at a purely gaming experience with this thing mostly. Films do look great in the black void, it's just that there's a lot left to be desired of the presentation of the content that you're watching, and I don't want to mislead anyone who wants kind of a movie watching headset, because this isn't for you. If you're looking for something to exclusively watch movies as well, there's a bit more lightweight as a headset. I'd say look for some AR glasses. I've reviewed some in the past. I'll definitely be reviewing some soon in the future, like the X-Reals or the Ray Neos. They are lightweight, 1080p micro OLED displays that look great and you can kind of take anywhere with you. They don't provide you with that theater environment, but they are a bit more convenient. But for the full-on theater environment, get a headset that's compatible with either Steam or get a big screen on Quest and you're sorted. Finally, Sony support of the headset. It seems to be the classic Sony of not really saying anything and coming out with random news whenever they want to, and I think that's going to stay the same. With that being said, we do get some stuff like the hand tracking that was added, but Sony don't really make a fanfare about these things. They do exist, but if you're looking for something that's constantly getting new AAA big games, it just doesn't really exist in the VR space at all right now, and certainly not here. We do get great games quite often, of course, and again, SDK updates, but Sony support is always going to be a little lackluster to me compared to what they could pull off with the resources they have, but I'd still recommend the PSVR2 in 2025 because it does have some amazing games. It's still a viable future-proofed headset when it came out that can be recommended today, and I do recommend to you if you're looking for a gaming-focused headset on PS5 and looking for those exclusives like Gran Turismo, like Resi 4, like Resi Village, and want to play games like Alien Rogue Incursion, Metro, Behemoth, this has you covered and is fantastic. Hopefully in summer we get those controllers that can be bought separately, but we'll have to wait and see. Do you have one of these? Are you seeing one for the first time? Are you considering it? Please do let me know in the comments below. It's certainly aged because all technology does, and there are some pitfalls that are there compared to other headset platforms, but it also has massive legs up on other headset platforms, like the latency with hand tracking, like the OLED, like the haptics, and like some of the exclusives that are brilliant. So yes, I would recommend the PSVR2 in 2025, and 2 years on, I'm really happy with this device. It has been life-changing for me in quite a few ways, of course, with the channel, and also just in terms of how I consume video games as well. I'm still an avid flat-screen gamer, but there are some certain game types that I just can't go back from being non-VR, and I have PSVR2 to thank for that. Hopefully, this can inform your decision on whether you want one or not, or maybe you just came here to have a little reminisce about the last 2 years. Either way, let's hope for a great 2025 for the headset. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.